She's pissed because he won't go to work. So what does he need to walk around for? That's what she's saying. He should be walking into town with his cane every day, so she wouldn't have anywhere to put it. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Under the Mountain Pod. My name is Frank.
And I'm Lauren.
And today we'll be covering Chapter 2 of A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas.
All right. And today, for those of you who are not viewing us, we're dressed as everybody's favorite lazy, spoiled,
bitchy,
nasty sisters.
Older sisters.
Yeah, Elain and Nesta. Nesta. I think you can tell because you look very angelic and sweet,
innocent,
sort of.
Yeah.
And incompetent, and I just kind of look like a bitch.
Such a bitch.
I mean, I have got my poofy royal garb.
Obviously.
I don't know if Nesta's maintained.
How did you keep that garb from the collectors?
Because I ran into the room and they didn't really spot me. I just ran in immediately, did not try to help.
Of course.
And barricaded the door.
And I was too dumb to do anything about it.
So that's how they didn't get this dress for me.
And I just curl my hair every day instead of helping around the house.
With your curling iron that the debtors did not also take.
To be honest, I wouldn't even think to ask to help. I'm just that dumb.
Yeah. Well, all right. So yeah, Frank, again, for any reminder, this is his first time reading this. It is not my first time. So I maybe I was not the biggest fan upon my first go around. I still don't love this, but I felt maybe like less worked up about it than you seem to be.
Yeah, because I
knew it was coming.
That's fair. Yeah. Right? Yeah, I could see it's less jarring maybe even on the second read around. I was a little like, all right. But I got problems.
So go ahead. Frank had a bad time. We're not off to a good start. How were you feeling about Chapter 2? I might have to be the defense squad.
You might. Chapter 1 felt so solid to me. You know,
okay. I think Chapter 1 was really good.
We had good voice. We had good nature. And now that we're returning back home, it's like having trouble with Feyre's voice coming from the huntress that she was, coming back into this family life where she feels simultaneously like the dad figure, and also has no self-confidence.
I know. I agree, I guess.
And people are like this. Like, people have roles that they fall into and then don't realize with their family that they, like, shouldn't be taking as much abuse as they do because of patterns. I get that. Mm-hmm. It just feels like a lot of it feels convenient, and a lot of it definitely feels like it's from Feyre's perspective, but that's not necessarily clear enough. So I'm going now to Sarah's plate, and I'm saying I feel like she did a couple of things in the way that she did it where I'm like, why did you make that decision like that?
I mean, this is my issue with the whole, I can't say the whole series because I only read 2, but this was my issue with this book and the second book, was constantly feeling like I could not figure out what was authorial intent, or I could not figure out what Sarah wanted me to feel. Versus what the characters were perhaps incorrectly feeling.
Sarah is trying to make me feel a certain way, or is she?
I don't know.
And then, as a reflection, Feyre's putting something out, or is she? And I'm not sure who's who, you know? I'm not sure what the author is saying. I'm not sure what Feyre is saying. And then it's like, what we're reading, I can't tell. Is Feyre an unreliable narrator in a lot of ways? Just some of the ways? None of the ways? Am I supposed to take this hook, line, and sinker?
The issue is that ultimately it comes down to Feyre is an unreliable narrator in some ways, and then there are other ways where you'll be like, oh, that doesn't really make sense. That seems like an incorrect point of view from her. But then you'll kind of get the sense that time Sarah's like, no, not that one though.
That
and it's really hard to know which one I'm supposed to take as which.
Yes, and that's what I'm sensing that. Like, muddled perspective is kind of a hard thing to start off with.
I'll say 2 things. I don't know if perhaps it evolved. Because, number one, I mentioned this last time. I know that there is the horny book that's all from Nesta's perspective. And
she would.
I know. And I believe you get a lot of like different POV stuff in that one where like Feyre kind of seems like the bad guy.
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like, okay.
No, but reading this chapter, because the second time I read it, the first time I read it straight through, Feyre's telling the truth. The way they all are is just horrible stepsisters sort of thing, and it's like it's like nuts. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, does it not make sense, or you just don't like? Like, what do you mean by it doesn't make sense?
It's like the narrative that I feel like it's trying to set up. That would feel too like fairy tale, like just straight.
Okay, but that's my second argument. So perhaps I should put that forth.
Let's go.
The whole thing is this first book. We throw that away in the rest of the series, this motif. But the first book is a mishmash intentional of fairy tales.
Okay.
Right.
I
so
see.
they are supposed to be like clearly like generic
evil
wicked
stepsisters.
stepsisters who are like cartoonishly evil.
All right.
My issue is like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I guess that's something you can do. I don't find it very interesting as an adult reader. That feels, I don't know. I'm very particular about my like, if you want to make things really archetypal, really mythological, really fairy tale, you gotta write a certain way, and this is not it, because there's a reason those stories are short, is what I'll say, right?
Absolutely.
When you need to expand it into a long-term, ever-changing familial dynamic over the course of books and books and books, this can't be our starting place, because it's not a real person.
Exactly.
And there's not much to expand upon with this character.
No, I agree with that.
Type.
Absolutely.
And yeah, to me, it just feels like kind of silly. But I am intrigued by starting here and then having the author down the line say like, JK, here's the flipperoo. I don't know, like that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And it shows that she's willing to like view things from another angle, and we're not supposed to be totally just bought in. But I don't know if that was the case when she wrote this second chapter in this book, right?
Yeah, and I can't tell because I got to see the flavor of where it's going. But yeah.
Does the stepsister thing kind of change your mind? It's all like fairy tale motifs.
Sure, that would change my mind, but now knowing that we're going to get other perspectives from Nesta's point of view where she's not actually the evil stepsister, there were moments in this chapter where I could read it and be like, I think Feyre is maybe unreasonable.
Yeah.
And from the straight read, she's not, but like from the subtext, she maybe is. And then... But
there kind of is subtext present even now that introduces the idea that Feyre is like not to be believed. Here's my issue is like, if that's the case, I think you went too hard in making, like, you made Feyre too unlikable if that's the case, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm supposed to turn around and go like, oh, the subtext is that she's being unfair, she's reading this, like, it's all getting filtered through her, like, skewed POV, I'm like, well, then she's, like, so annoying right off the bat.
True.
And if for her to not be that annoying, they'd have to be that bad. And so I'm struggling, because, like, you made them really unlikable.
But now you've also
in this
made her
overt
really
way.
unlikable.
But in order for me to think they actually have nuance, now I have to be like, okay, they're still kind of unlikable, and Feyre's also really unlikable.
Yeah.
And that's kind of, like, not my favorite place to start.
No, I agree. And yeah, once again, leaving it at its base bones, one book with lots of fairy tale motifs where we don't go back and analyze these things because they just are what they are.
Yeah.
Maybe fine. But, so we'll see.
Yeah.
As we go through, I'm going to keep hearkening back to, like, which one are we doing?
I don't know. All right, so we'll start off. Feyre has left the woods. She has her deer wrapped in the wolf pelt.
Yep.
She's freezing. Her body's aching. She's just... The chapter really hammers home how hard things are for Feyre uniquely and pretty much no one else.
Pretty much no one else, yeah.
Like, it's over the top.
I know.
Like,
I know.
We start immediately where she's just like, I'm in so much pain. I mean,
is aching. The woods are freezing.
Yeah,
Nobody
like,
cares about me.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
right. You know, she's going back to their dilapidated cottage. So we get, right away, though, we do get this mix of feelings. She hears her sisters talking.
Yep.
And she suspects it's about some young man or the ribbons they'd spotted in the village when they should have been chopping wood. But she smiles hearing them talk nonetheless. So, okay, we're introduced, like, from the get-go.
Yes.
With her having, like, these mixed feelings about everything. She seems to be charmed a little bit
you do, by family. So, like, a little, that's reasonable, right?
Yeah.
Especially from a 19-year-old's perspective.
I mean, yes, by family, but also maybe it's showing that she does have a little bit of a draw, that she's not quite letting on to the frivolous topics that they're talking about.
True. Yeah.
Like, there's some part of her that wishes she could.
Which is also wrapped up and part of her resentment. Because Feyre is just a ball of resentment in this chapter. She's not allowed to be frivolous and girly like them.
Yes, and it's interesting because the whole book, I think, I don't know, it's not a revenge fantasy, right? Because she's not really getting revenge on them, but in a way where it's like this, I took on so much burden, and then the fantasy of it is someone will come and take me away and say, no, you get to be good and, like, still want to keep the burden, but I'm taking it away from you. Right? Like, that's the fantasy. Feyre gets to keep being like, till the end, I tried to do everything right, even though I hated them. And then some hot guy gets to go like, no, you don't.
Mother's Oath, and
I'm canceling Mother's Oath.
Damn.
You know?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know how I feel about that. There's something that I totally get that's like the wish fulfillment of it, you get the responsibilities taken off of you while also not having to feel any guilt about owning that you didn't want to do them.
Yep.
I get why that's an appealing fantasy, but there is some part of me that's just like, sure.
And I do love this mishmash of, because, like, we're going on a hero's journey of sorts, right?
Sure. Yeah, eventually, yeah.
But what's funny is that, like, a hero's journey tends to involve someone being catapulted out of their home into the unknown, right? Which is what's going to happen eventually here. But usually they're not forced, you know? Like, that's usually part of the, like, circumstance might force them, but they are not literally forced.
Well, like, think about...
Because part of being a hero is making the choice to be heroic.
She does get
later
an
on,
opportunity
I guess,
to make a choice later.
But not the initial...
Not the beginning.
Not the first beyond the pale moment.
There's definitely fantasy books where, like, you just... it happens and you go, and
there are very reluctant heroes. That's true too. Does she have a return home moment? Yeah. Where she comes back with all the knowledge she's gained and then is better for it? Or is she still this, like, burdened little maniac?
I wish I could like have really weird choppy images of her coming back.
Yeah.
I don't feel I'm really curious to get back to it because I can't remember what it feels like, but I feel like
she's still resentful. She's still...
Yeah? I might be wrong, though.
We'll see. I don't know.
Like, I feel like it's definitely subtly different, but I don't remember coming up to that part and going like, oh, I see. I don't remember that feeling. Like, I remember just being like, yeah, that happened. Okay. She is, like, looking at on the bottom of the cottage. There's, like, these special markings that a charlatan tricked their dad by, he was like, I'm part high fae and I can put these markings on your house to keep the fae away from you, to keep you safe. Her dad fell for it, even though she was like, he was a faker, and he paid in what we learn is his vocation of wood carving. He paid in a wood carving, which I'm kind of like, you know what? I think honestly, kind of a good trade because
sweet
like,
deal, you know?
Maybe it would work. And what did you lose, really?
Some wood.
So
we're in the woods.
Go for it, I think. So then we're introduced to Elain and Nesta, and we find out Feyre is the youngest of the sisters. Why do you think she made this decision? What would have prevented her? Everything would just work, I think, a lot better if she were the oldest. So why did she go out of her way to make her the youngest?
Absolutely agree. I don't know.
Is it just to heap on more injustice?
Well, I think so. What I think it is a heaping on of injustice and this weird assertion that children raised to be nobles after a certain age can no longer rough it for their own lives, which I don't like and is kind of dumb.
Is pushed to an extent that is really unbelievable.
Yeah. 100%.
And I just keep coming back to being like, okay, it's like fairy tale logic. Like
Sure.
I said, long form fairy tale, like long form novel format fairy tale logic for me, unless it's under the hand of the most artful, skilled writer in the world, it just falls flat.
Frequently isn't.
Yeah. She needed the I can't read and write thing to be a thing so she can subvert Beauty and the Beast, and then
I guess. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's
and so in
something.
order to do that, she's the youngest, and then like I said, I think it does add that like extra like, and can you even believe?
So Dad's not an inventor, he's a wood carver. She's not a reader, she's a painter. Yeah. These are 1-to-1 analogs though. These are just, we're not doing much here.
No.
We ain't cooking.
All the sisters, Elain, Nesta, and Feyre, have golden brown hair, which I just interpreted as I don't know, this.
I think we did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we talk about this, and was it mentioned in the first chapter? Why in this world in which the Fae are like demons to these people, would you name your child Feyre?
We didn't talk about it because this is the first time her name's dropped.
Oh, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Isn't that a bizarre decision?
Well, it's spelled differently, so
I understand that.
wonder,
but like it's
maybe it means like no Fae. Feyre, you know?
Like I feel like I don't know. I'm like, to me it's like naming my child like some variation of like Lucifer or like demon. Where I'm like, oh, this is my boy.
Lucifer.
Dimonzo.
Dimonzo and Lucifer.
Yeah. Like
my children.
We
hate
like,
the devil.
Yeah, and not right. Even
we hate the devil, and the devil is here. He's 2 miles that way.
Yeah, because like it isn't the same. Because even doing that is weird. But like we don't. People aren't talking about demons all that much. I guess depending on where you live, but not for me. And yeah, it's not like I'm like, oh, out in the backyard, the demons come out sometimes. Then I really wouldn't name my kid that.
No, I don't think so.
I'm assuming I'm pretty sure some explanation is given, but like, I find it just a weird choice if I'm in universe as the family. Like, I'm just like, what? And then a weird choice for the author. I don't think I would do that.
Sure. Yeah, I think she was just attached to it. Like, oh, that's a cool name. And then
it's
just
a nice name without that part.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we got a dead mom. We probably got some history.
I'm just putting it out there. I want to know why they would have made that choice.
We've introduced the Fey blood concept in this chapter with the traveling guy. Are they Fey blooded? Is there some sort of
like I
don't know. Their great grandma's name was Feyre because she was a Fey, maybe, you know.
And nobody was suspicious.
No.
They named themselves like, I am part Fae, and nobody asked.
My name is Feyborn. Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, what do you think that means?
Well, okay, so
is that Russian?
They have their beautiful hair, and like Elain in particular, she like did her hair up, and she looks so beautiful. And Feyre mentions like, 8 years of poverty, and she's still looking so nice.
Hasn't beaten the ugly into her yet.
Yeah, I mean, she's so Cinderella coded, right? Like she just has to do the bad stuff, and they don't. I don't like. That's all it is. That's all it is.
But it does feel weirdly like even in Cinderella, right? She is punished by being made to do feminine things.
Yeah.
And then gets to do the big feminine thing, which is marry the prince.
And so does this one.
She has to do the masculine things, like hunt.
Sure.
Not clean.
Yeah, right.
And then gets to marry the prince. So it's like, it almost feels anti-feminist a little bit. Frivolity was bad here. Frivolity is only good when forced upon you by the ultimate man who is a fairy.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Oh, okay. Does Feyre have trouble with that? Like, did she rebel against that? I'm curious to see what her arc's going to be.
Yes and no. Yes, sometimes when some people do it, but not other times when other people do it.
Oh, no. This is going to be so inconsistent.
Yeah, it is.
You're going to freak out.
Who, me?
You!
Yeah, I don't...
This is going to be a tic-tac-toe board in your head the whole fucking podcast.
Yeah, and I know I see all the time on like the ACOTAR subreddit, it's like people being like, I don't know, there's like a bunch of subreddits, and then there's like a main one, and then they've made like a shoot off one that's like for the positive fans, like for the fans who don't want to criticize it. And they're always in there being like, oh my God, why are these people analyzing it so much? Like, and I like, listen, you don't have to engage with books this way. You do not have to. You can shut off your brain.
You can
do whatever you want.
Yep.
We won't do that because that's not interesting. And also, like, I just don't have a brain that can do that.
That's also true.
I think people act like the way they read and they're like kind of just like going through and they're not thinking about it that deeply, whatever. They're sort of like, everyone has that default mode and you're like forcing yourself to like think deeper. And I'm like,
in order to be cool for the
like,
New York Times crowd,
right?
Or something.
Like, I'm like, no. The default mode that you guys get to have fun with doesn't exist for me. Don't know it. Can't access it. I just will be like, oh, okay, here's like a theme. That's it. That's cool. I'm like, I'm reflecting on that. And then if I read further and you contradict the theme, my brain doesn't have an option to say like, I didn't notice it. I just noticed it because it felt discordant, and that's where we are.
Just everybody interfaces with this stuff differently.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
But this is how we're going to interface with it. So again, if you're like, oh my God, but why are you thinking about it so deeply? Just enjoy. Next, press the button. So Elain asks where Feyre got the deer. Quote, Feyre's internal monologue. No mention of the blood on me. I'd long since given up hope of them actually noticing whether I came back from the woods every evening, at least until they got hungry again. Do we actually get a sense of that? Do we actually get the sense that they don't care if she comes back from the woods?
Nobody cares about me. Everything I do is for this family, and nobody gives a shit about
but
all my strife and struggle.
Set it up in a way that you're like, okay, but it's like kind of true.
It's kind of true.
Right.
And that's why it's kind of ridiculous. But like, yeah, maybe I'm already initially turned off to this framing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, all right, it's so uncharitable to everything.
I know. I'm trying to, though, be like, she is real. Like, you know when you're like really stressed, you're just like having a fucking week and you're like, I'm so tired, I'm burnt out, and now like everyone's annoying me and you are just being really uncharitable. I'm kind of like, she's doing that on like
definitely
times a million, because like I've never been literally starving. So maybe you would hit this level.
I agree. I think that's totally possible, but I think the author needs to be a step outside of that, and she's not frequently.
I feel that way too, right? Because I always get this sense that I'm like, Sarah, you kind of don't like them. But maybe if I read Nesta's book and I'm like, oh, look, she loves her, maybe I'll
change. It took her 3 books to get there.
And yeah, sometimes I do have to separate between like, I do think the fans have bad opinions sometimes that maybe she doesn't even have, Sarah.
Okay.
And that can really like bleed into your feelings as well. So I'm also trying to like ignore these people and be like, just because they're all saying it doesn't mean that was the intention.
I don't know anything what they're saying, and I won't look, hopefully.
Do we get the sense that they actually don't care about if she's dead? I don't know that I think that.
Here's what I find incongruent within the same scene.
Yeah.
Because when she comes in and they don't notice blood's on her and they just want to know where she got the food, which when you're starving, yeah, maybe that's the first thing you notice.
I think, wouldn't you be like, the blood's on her from the deer?
It seems pretty obvious where the blood came from, all the dead animals she's holding. But also, later on, Nesta's a bitch about how she smells bad and has a bunch of blood on her. And it is one of the first things that she comments on.
I think she wants to be babied, so she's kind of being like,
that's the thing.
Everyone should like check on if I got hurt.
And here's the thing. She's right.
Yeah.
That's true. But the narrative kind of feels a little too strongly in the corner of she's 100% right and this isn't an emotional response. A little bit. A little.
It does give you that. She slams the deer down on the table. She says, where do you think I got it? And then Nesta and her dad are sitting over by the fire and they're just like not looking at her. They're warming their hands. And we say that Nesta's ignoring their dad as usual. We expand upon this a little bit later, but I'm like, well, they're just I mean, what do you mean
it's
ignoring?
Hard to notice. Yeah, that's more of a told rather than shown. She's just warming her hands up, so I don't know how she's ignoring him while warming it.
While sitting next to him.
Like, what is she doing?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
I don't even look at father.
I guess.
I want the warmth, not in your company.
Why not even just add that, like, he's sort of trying to engage her in conversation and she's not replying back? That would be ignoring.
Sure, you could do that.
Elain asks if it's going to take long to clean the deer, and Feyre's like, will it take me long, not you guys? Okay.
Here's the point in which I go, you're going out, you're hunting, you're killing things, you're bringing them back. You go clean up, and I'll show you how to cut this. Do it. We're doing it now.
She does do that a little bit throughout the chapter with a couple of things. You gotta
keep doing it. If you don't want, hey, I got you food. If you guys want to eat, you're gonna help me prepare it.
Yeah, okay. I mean, but she does. What if they just literally refuse? Like, they're just like, no.
Then they don't eat. You could do that.
Right.
You could literally do that.
But the promise to her mom, which that whole, like, the explanation for why this promise is so important, I found really confusing and weird.
Your bond.
It's your word, it's your bond.
It's your word, is your bond.
So, whatever.
I fucking hated that. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever. We've put her in this impossible situation with these girls really, really at this point, as hungry as they are, as long as they've been poor.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Not taking not anything.
It's unreasonable, and, like, I'll accept that you are writing unreasonable characters. That's even possible, especially with the fairy tale framing. But then drive it home. Don't make it...
Well, didn't she kind of?
Not really.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because if Feyre's wrong, which I think we're saying...
She kind of
is. Then they're actually not that bad.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like...
And then you need to go the other way. You need to back it up. You need to show that they are doing things, and Feyre doesn't care about those things.
Yes.
That's what you could do. But this almost feels like Feyre is committed to maintaining their femininity.
Wow. Okay.
She doesn't want them too much. She wants them to offer and then her to go, no, I got it.
I don't know if you're right.
I don't know. I'm curious.
This is an interesting approach.
Well, I need more data, but I'm curious to see. Yeah, what would Feyre do?
So, Feyre is reflecting on Elain, and she's like, oh, Elain's not cruel. Unlike Nesta, born with a sneer on her face. It's just like...
Damn.
Oh, I mean, okay, maybe.
Imagine just having the worst sister ever.
Elain just doesn't grasp things. It wasn't meanness that kept her from offering to help. It simply never occurred to her that she might be capable of getting her hands dirty. But, like, at 8 years later...
At 22?
While starving?
They gotta be dirty people at this point.
And they were kind of young when they lost.
Yeah.
Like, they were in that, like,
That's
malleable brain stage.
They were pre-teens, all of them.
Yeah.
Because 11... to 14. Okay, so Nesta was 14.
Yeah.
She was 13.
You would definitely have, like, gotten a little edge about you.
Of course you would.
But, like, yeah, I, like, buy it from, like, 50-something mom can't adjust.
That's what I'm saying. The mom is unfortunately dead because she would fit perfectly with the attitudes of her daughters here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so we get this sort of, like, excuse for Elain that, like, she...
is simply... too dumb or absent-minded to think that helping is needed.
Or, like, maybe, like, there's almost a sense of, like, she doesn't have enough self-esteem to...
Yeah,
think
maybe.
She could... What? Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Then you gotta teach her. She'll do it.
Well, I think the implication is that all of that has been attempted. I don't think we're supposed to think that she didn't try.
Keep trying.
She isn't sure if Elain actually doesn't understand that they were truly poor or refused to accept it. I mean, but again, if they had been like, oh, this happened to us like 6 months ago, I would get that. But I'm like, what do you mean? It's been like a decade.
This has the...
it's been most of her life.
This has the, like, quality of it, of, like, those ads you get on Instagram with the, like... the shattered window and the mom holding the baby and going like this. But they were just in a palace. And they're like, we were queen. Now she's still got the robe on. And she's like, aren't we still rich? What's going on? What is cold? You know? Like, and then they're what are we doing?
Like tape window or like electrocute like baby. You know,
should I feed kid or put goo on my face? And it's just like... That's what Elaine's doing, right? That's where Elaine's at.
She is one of those little app girls.
100%.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, she keeps doing this thing where she says about Elain, like, even all those bad qualities, and it doesn't stop Feyre from buying her flower seeds when she can afford to. And then she says, okay, Elain also bought me paints one summer when we had some extra money. But then she throws in at the end, it was the only gift she's ever given me. And you're kind of like, But also, you've been poor since you guys were like 12.
Yep.
When was she giving you gifts?
We don't have new shoes. You're wearing like sandals in the winter. I don't know what's going on.
A little unfair.
Yeah, but she only gave me one gift, and it was my favorite gift in the whole world.
I'm like, well, that sounds really nice.
It does.
Yeah.
I imagine paint pots are hard to come by in the fucking wood town that you were in.
And then, so when Elain had bought her those paints, she had painted little motifs and flowers and beautiful things all around the house. That's so nice of you.
Do I hate this? Yeah. I hate it. I think it's so corny. But the idea is maybe okay. It's just the way it was.
I know. I agree.
She's painting in clever places, quote. Like the insides of drawers.
It's so twee.
And under chair. Yeah.
She's so quirky. She's
artist much? Like put on your beret and just start just chomping baguettes in the corner with your deer meat.
Dad stands up. Feyre, what luck you had today to bring us such a feast.
Everyone screams at his horrible knee.
No, they don't.
Mangled and twisted knee.
No, they don't. But I think this is interesting because you're like, look, he's happy. He's giving her a lot of praise.
He is. And how does Nesta react?
Nesta hates that. She's praise for anyone at all resulted in her dismissal. Anytime Dad talks, Nesta ridicules him. I remember reading this the first time, and I was like, I want more of this bitch. I want more of this bitch.
You got book 5, and apparently she's filthy. So
I was like, she's ridiculous. I think I was taking it very camp.
Yeah,
and I was kind of like, give me more of her.
Maybe it is camp.
I know.
Maybe it is. Well, I mean, fairy tales kind of are camp,
That's
right? So maybe.
I was like, yeah, give me more of that because it's so over the top.
And
it's
here's the
so
thing.
Crazy.
Is she wrong?
Oh.
I don't think Nesta's wrong, really, that wrong right now with the dad.
No, not necessarily. Well, I'm not sure.
Dad's depressed, and he's got to get the fuck up.
Okay, fair enough, probably. But I guess I'm like, it's not made clear to me how bad anything is for him. I'm just like, is he incapable or not? We keep kind of going back and forth on it.
He's capable. He can walk a mile with his cane.
He can walk into town. But what if it really taxes him?
Get your ass in town. Your daughter is almost dying on the regular in the woods.
They are literally dying.
They're starving. There's no wood. Chop the wood at least.
I don't know if can he not? I don't know.
Cane, axe.
I don't know.
Better than your 22-year-old
What could he
daughter.
do? What could he do?
Maybe
he could.
Literally anything. The fact that he won't get a job, I kind of agree. That's just like, God. He's too proud to get a job. I'm like, his hands are still uncalloused. She says it at some point. His hands still look like lordly hands. They're still unmarred.
Sure, because I guess
your one daughter
he's so physically. Is he so incapable physically?
It's one leg.
Is it true? It's only one leg?
It's one knee.
All right. Well, it does sound like maybe he's got some options.
And I get it.
He
the
can't
descriptions,
hunt.
They crunched that bone. They really went nuts on that bone. His knee got destroyed.
Yeah, he can't hunt. But I'm like, yeah, could we all be putting traps together for the rabbits together. Or something?
We could be putting sticks over boxes.
But I know, but it's so hard. I'm like, who would not? I guess unless you're really depressed, right?
He's depressed. That's the problem. His wife's dead. He lost his fortune.
So that's where he's at.
This is Charlie's grandpa on steroids.
When is he getting up to go to the chocolate factory?
He ain't. That's the worst part. That's why it's on steroids.
It's not Charlie's grandpa.
Well, there is no chocolate factory ticket for him coming. Because I think that dude would hop the fuck up and hobble over the boundary.
You are reading so much into Dad's character.
As a man, the dad is weak sauce.
Okay, so Nesta's right. So Feyre kind of calls...
The girls in...
She doesn't...
I know.
Fuck with him much.
But no one should be fucking with this man. This man's got 8 years of poverty and 16 years worth of making it up to his daughters, and he ain't done shit.
I know, and that's why we
fucking bothered to carve on a daily.
That's why we need a daddy to come and take care of us.
Daddy's gonna come, but goddamn,
Daddy's gonna come.
That's...
Nesta had taken the loss of the fortune the hardest. She had quietly resented father from the moment we'd fled our manor. It doesn't sound like it was quiet. It sounds like she was been really loud about it, actually.
Which every time he speaks, she yells.
Fair enough. Yeah, he talks and she
silently.
yells.
No.
But then we learn that Nesta's stealing money. That if Feyre doesn't hide money she gets in town, Nesta's stealing it for who knows
cigarettes
what.
And trips into
and vodka.
New Donk City, wherever the hell they live.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean.
They have no gods, no towns.
She's a wily little thing. I really do struggle though to be like, are you telling me that she's starving to death? She's starving and she still steals money and is like, I'm buying a scarf. I wish that they had just been poor much more recently.
Yeah.
It would be a little bit more believable to me. To be like, she can't let it go. She can't let it go. And it kind of feels like that's what she wanted in a way, but it didn't like quite sync up with other things she wanted. Because I'm like, we talk about like later, it's like none of our old friends talk to us anymore. I'm like, well, girl, you were like 13 when this happened and now you're in your 20s. Maybe like also. So Feyre's like, we can eat half of the deer meat this week and then we're going to dry the other half and we'll sell the hide at market tomorrow. And she's like, no matter how I phrase this, like, we'll do it. I know I'm going to be the only one who does it. We find out Papa has a messed up leg. It hurts him based on like the weather and stuff.
Jangled.
He has a cane that Nesta intentionally will put out of his reach.
Come on.
That's
come
so
on.
ridiculous.
Wild to do.
That's kind of crazy, but okay.
Like maybe funny.
But see,
though.
the way you were just so pissed at Dad over there, would you think is that warranted?
It's what?
Should she leave the case?
She's pissed because he won't go to work. So what does he need to walk around for? That's what she's saying. He should be walking into town with his cane every day so she wouldn't have anywhere to put it.
So you think it's correct that she put that cane?
No, I think it's an absurd overreaction to a problem that you're having. But the 8 years this man hasn't gotten a job, he can't work the till at the tavern.
I don't know that
if they gave him a stool, it might be all right.
I think they want able-bodied men.
He could ask.
I think maybe he did.
It doesn't sound like he did.
It's like they all seem like such unreliable narrators. I feel like I don't really know
You're right.
what Dad did.
I don't know. I wonder. But real quick, is this the look for me? Is this the hair I should be having? Like, should I have been born looking like this?
It's
Maybe.
Nice. It's nice.
It's kind of...
I think that I should have been Elain, you should have been Nesta because you are identifying so much with her.
We didn't know until now.
Yeah, and Nesta says he could find work if he wasn't so ashamed. And it says she hated him for the injury. But here's the thing. Does she hate him for the injury or does she hate him for his attitude and lack of care?
And lack of gumption.
Right. When the creditor and his thugs burst into the cottage and smashed his knee. I didn't love...
We're in a village, so we got the mafia. This is what the mafia does.
I know.
So you're just like, yeah.
Well, you don't think there were, like, things equivalent to that back in...
Probably.
The days.
Probably. It just feels like real stupid.
It does feel... It feels very goony, like, modern goon behavior.
That's what I'm saying. They are goons. They are literally goons.
But, like, I think that this could happen... But I love, so like the creditors came in with the goons. They were beating him up. Nesta and Elain ran into the room and barricaded the door while Feyre,
the youngest,
lone Feyre, stayed
begging them to stop.
Begging and weeping. And then she threw up and pooped herself and passed out.
Did she poop? I guess she pooped.
It says soiling herself.
Can't peeing be soiling?
I think it's pooping. I would poop myself too.
Yes, peeing and soiling oneself are both examples of urinary incontinence. So.
No one asked that.
Well, listen, so soiling...
Who cares if you think less of her if she pooped?
No, she's an 11-year-old girl watching her dad's knee get utterly jagged. So
I think your bowels would definitely give out.
Mine would do it if I didn't even know the guy, probably. So she vomed and shat all over the room, and they finally stopped stepping on this man's knee.
Okay, I love this subtle dig at them hiding when it's like, honestly...
No, yeah, you were the crazy one.
Okay to do. Sad for everyone involved, but also, Feyre, like, it's admirable to be like, I want to stay with Daddy and help, but... also, I don't really think less of
No.
Nesta and Elain for hiding as children.
Of an 11-year-old boy doing the same thing. It's crazy that you stayed, but it's also like totally, actually maybe smart of them to not stay.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
but again, that feels like it is maybe I don't know. Like, I'm like, is that an intentional character thing to be like, actually, I'm very, as the author, quite neutral about it, but Feyre has a chip on her shoulder about it. Like, it does kind of feel that way,
feels like that.
right?
Yeah, I would agree.
Dad got really fucked up, and they used the rest of the money they had on a healer. It took him a while to recover, and then he was able to, like, slowly be able to walk up to a mile, like you said. And the copper, when someone pitied him enough to buy his wood carvings, weren't enough to keep us fed. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like everyone's not doing that well right now, and it's like, who needs wood carvings? Especially
this dude's.
You think they're good? But okay, she got some of her artistic talent from Dad.
From Papa, yeah. I think they're probably mid, though.
You think he was he liked doing this before?
It's hard to say. And what was the matter of his business that he took such a large loan out?
I honestly don't remember.
I don't know. They don't say. Yeah,
I don't remember if, like, that's a big thing we, like, learn about, or if it is just supposed to be, like, a hand-wavy, like, yeah, creditors, like, don't think about it much.
What I'm thinking.
I don't know. It could be either one. Then 5 years ago, when the money was well and truly gone, when my father still wouldn't move, which shows that, like, Feyre seems to kind of, like, be back and forth about whether Dad actually genuinely doesn't have the ability to do these things, or if she's, like, on Nesta's side, actually, in thinking that, like, it's a choice he's making and he could do more.
Yeah.
She doesn't seem settled on it.
I'm not.
I don't have enough information. I don't see this man every day. What can he do? What can he not do? I don't know. Back then, hadn't argued when I announced that I was going hunting, hadn't bothered to sit up from his seat by the fire, hadn't bothered to look up from his wood carving. He just let me walk into those deadly, eerie woods that even the most seasoned hunters were wary of. Yeah, like, I mean, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Garbage dad. Right?
Yeah, I think. Oh, why would you not say anything?
And his response now is just so like, ugh. Like everything. Well, when he comes over to the table, it's like, Feyre.
Oh, yeah.
Like, shut the fuck up. Come on.
He was a little more grateful now, sometimes offered signs of gratitude, and sometimes hobbled all the way into town to sell his carvings, but not much. Then Elain, when Feyre's like, oh, we're going to sell the hide to get money, Elaine's like, I really need a new cloak, I'm freezing. And Nesta says she needs new boots. Elain and Nesta are arguing. And then, like, Feyre in her head is, like, looking over at the door at Nesta's still shiny boots. It is just so absurdly goofy for her to have, like, brand new boots and be like, Elain, I don't care. Which is also doubly weird because Elain and Nesta keep being characterized as really close.
Yes.
Which, that is where I'm always like, there is either because we're through Feyre's point of view, something is really being left out. Because right now, by what you're describing, they should not like each other. They should not be close.
I agree with that, yeah.
And the fact that
bond of femininity over...
are means that, like, there's something.
Yeah.
Why would Elain not be closer with Feyre?
Because Feyre must be being really annoying a lot of the time. We're doing something.
I guess it's because Feyre is, like, holding them to task, and, like, Nesta doesn't make Elain do those things.
Yes, yeah. And maybe Elain just resonates more with Nesta's being because she's more cutesy and whatever, you know?
Nesta's not so cutesy. Nesta's, like, she's cunty.
She's cunty, yeah.
And, yeah, it's just so... She's, like, looking at Nesta's shiny boots, and besides my 2 small boots, which were falling apart at the seams, held together by fraying laces. It's just so crazy. You're just like, wow, okay.
But here, once again, it's like, all right, well, interestingly enough, so Elaine's cloak, we don't get a comparison. She needs a new cloak. We don't know if her old cloak is bad.
That's true.
That's omitted.
I mean, she does say she's cold.
Sure. And she had a threadbare blanket or something, right? So, or was that her cloak?
I think maybe it was. I don't remember.
So she has a bad cloak, maybe deserves it. Nesta wants new boots, does not deserve it. And look, those are so nice. My boots. Falling apart. But here's the thing.
Isn't it so, even like the motif of like the shoes and the comparisons, isn't
definitely.
It so like
absolutely
fairy tale? Yeah,
100%.
Right. The question, I think, it just comes down to like we're being like, does using fairy tale logic function at all in this type of story.
If we're just supposed to really suspend disbelief and go along for the ride.
Which evidently lots of people not only are able to do, but like love to do. They do. They love it.
And that might be, I don't know, an intellectual weakness of ours to not be able to not just turn it off and ride the ride. We ain't riding the ride. Not without.
We're riding.
We're steering too, though. That's the thing. We're not just going down the log flume.
We are, though. I mean, by virtue of reading it, we're on the log flume. We're just like, we got like flashlights.
And we snuck our like iPhone in and we're filming.
We're pointing out like, look at that bad paint job. Things like that.
So here's the problem, though. And maybe if you were to be on the ride with us, that might ruin your ride.
It might. Dad goes over, he's looking at the wolf pelt. He says, where'd you get this? He says, same place I got the deer. Feyre, the risk.
The risk.
She says, I had no other choice. And she wishes she could yell at him for not leaving the house most days, and if it weren't for her, they'd all be dead. Which, that seems accurate. Whether or not these people would have, 3 whole people would have that little self-preservation is quite the question.
They should probably just eat it at this point. Like, Darwinianly, they don't deserve to live.
Definitely.
Let them go. Let them go.
Right.
She wants to walk into that horizon and just keep going.
Yeah.
She should.
So then Nesta comes over. She crinkles her nose, says, you stink like a pig covered in its own filth. Wow. Can you at least try to pretend that you're not an ignorant peasant?
Headshot. Wild.
I don't know. I'm really struggling. Like, so, okay, on the fairy tale level, you're just making them bad as could be. I feel like when I try to think of her as a real person, which she simply must be because she's getting her own book, I can imagine a person who shirks off on their duties, wants to put it all on Feyre, wants to still be beautiful, all these things, is kind of bitchy. Enough that the person, you're starving and the person bringing you home food, you're just like, ew, you're smelly. It feels so...
It sucks.
So dumb.
It's so dumb. And the thing that would have like worked for me would have been pre-prep of the meat. They're super nice. Then once they're eating, the bitchiness comes right back out. Someone's bringing them food and they're dying.
Yeah.
You're literally drinking warm water.
Yeah.
And hanging out by the fire. Someone brings you fresh meat, you're like sucking up to that person.
I don't even know, like, I think you're just like a feral beast. It's almost like you'd need to have too much presence of mind to be scathing and like even bother thinking of these insults.
I agree with that.
I don't think your brain has enough power right now to be a bitch. And I feel like
the first chapter, Feyre had that energy of a feral beast. She was very like locked in and just very like the hunt. I need to survive. And then she gets home and just as hungry sisters are being like taking like snipes at her appearance. Like, come on. And
then Feyre somehow connects that comment about her being a smelly peasant to being like, oh, when I was young, I never got to learn how to read and write because I was so young when we became poor, and Nesta likes to make fun of me for it. And I was like, maybe that's what she was going for. It's like a little bit of a stretch. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe, though.
I don't know.
So Nesta runs a finger over her hair, just like the most like stereotypical bitchy girl. Take those disgusting clothes off. And then it says Feyre swallows back what she wants to say back to her. And I'm like, why? Like, what do you have to lose?
That's what I don't get.
They're not going to kick you out. Even if they did, it's easier for you to feed yourself. I don't know. Like, what are they going to do? Do you think they're going to like kill you? Like, I don't.
They literally can't. They just can't even chop wood. So like, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm like, you have so much leverage. And I feel like she's kind of like a bitch later.
Yeah.
When the whole like marriage proposal thing comes up and you're kind of like, this is a weird time to be a bitch. And all the times that would have been like completely warranted, you would have been in the clear for being bitchy back. You like didn't take those opportunities, which is weird. Feyre is like, you need to go put on a pot of water. Then she's like, oh no, there's like no wood left and you were supposed to chop more today. Why didn't you do it? Nesta's like, I hate chopping wood. I always get splinters. Besides, Feyre, you're so much better at it. It takes half the time it takes me. Your hands are suited for it. They're already so rough. I guess I just feel like it's almost like as if this is some sort of new statement. Like, I'm like, you guys must have had this conversation approximately 1,000 times over the last 8 years, right? Like, would it need repeating? So Feyre wants to avoid arguing. She's like, you got to get up at dawn and chop the wood or else we'll have cold breakfast. And then she says, I'll do no such thing. Again, from Feyre's point of view, it must be frustrating to be like, I don't want cold breakfast.
Sure. Yeah, especially after I hunted. So it's like,
right.
I get it.
So
but at the same time, having to chop the wood. Yeah. My ass is petty. I would chop enough to make myself warm breakfast. I know. And then I would put water on it.
That's exactly. I do. It's like hard for me to imagine all this time not hitting that level of petty.
If I had 8 years of this, no. Yeah. This happening first week, I'd be like, all right, so here's the thing. You're not eating anymore until you start acting better.
Right? Feyre tells her dad to get the knives ready, goes into the room and closes the door. In the bedroom, she shares it with both sisters. They all sleep in the same giant ironwood bed that used to be their parents' bed. There's something poetic and like fairy tale-esque in a way that I liked about this.
Yeah.
It's like the one thing they have from their, old mansion home. Their mom gave birth to them in the bed and she died in the bed.
Now they all sleep in the bed.
Sleep in the bed. I like the imagery of all the three girls in the bed. Like there's certain fairy tale-esque elements I like. And I guess I'm like, I feel like you could have used those a little bit more subtly.
Sure.
Right?
Like, this is kind of subtle. This works.
Yeah. I liked it.
And it is, like you said, from a fairy tale almost. Yeah. It feels like that.
And she looks at the dresser where she had painted these beautiful paintings around Nesta and Elain's drawers just to brighten their day, just to make them feel good.
Yeah.
And they never once commented on it. And she's like, I don't know why I thought they would.
So, I hate this because multiple reasons. One, because just later in this chapter, they will comment on it in a pejorative way. So to say they've never commented on it, even to make fun of it in 8 years, seems unreasonable. Especially when they will do it this very night.
Why would Elain, who gave you the paint,
not care?
Not say any? Like, I don't know. It just seems weird to me.
It doesn't make sense. It makes me not believe Feyre.
Well, sure.
Like, maybe they didn't laud on the praise enough for you to like be happy. Kind of it's like they weren't like so struck by your art. But also, here's the thing that we're not realizing, right? These people don't live in metropolis cities. They live in the ruralist, northern, Fae-dominated realms in which nothing the fuck is going on. There are no newspapers. There are no movies. Right. They're barely talking to peasants.
Yeah.
If you paint something on the wall, it's going to be a matter of conversation. I'm sorry. You're going to talk about it.
I mean, I would think.
You painted stars, someone's going to go, oh, what stars are those? And you're going to just talk about it. There's nothing else going on in your life. You're sitting there drinking warm water and sitting next to the fire ignoring your dad. What else are you doing?
I just feel like they could have been like bitchy stepsister vibes and still had a little bit more rounding out.
I agree. Because a book inherently requires rounding out.
But then, like you said, like it is like, okay, is it just that like I am sort of supposed to take away Feyre filtering this really negatively, but I want to then explore through the rest of the book. What does that mean for Feyre? How does that impact her life?
I agree.
Like how does that get in the way for her? Does she ever realize it? She doesn't have to. It could just stay a consistent character, like piece of her. But I do think then it should cause like problems for her sometimes.
Yes.
So they're eating their deer meat. They eat too much of it. But Feyre's like, oh, whatever.
Did what each of them got painted matter? Like, does that matter at all? Elain got flowers.
Well, she likes flowers.
That makes sense.
She likes flowers.
Nesta got a crackling fire.
I think it's just supposed to be like they're like a motif that like Elaine's very decorative, but like kind of sweet. Nesta's like a big, passionate. Yeah, I think it's just like reflective.
And then Feyre got the night sky with like sprinkled stars, but unfortunately they were yellow because she didn't get white. She couldn't afford white.
Yeah, that's gonna mean something.
The night sky.
The night sky will mean something for Feyre. They eat their deer meat. Feyre's like mentally thinking about how she's going to prepare the rest of the skins to sell. And she's like, oh, they're going to undercut me in town, but I can't travel further. She's like remarking on the shabby set of silverware that they're using that they had stolen from the servants' quarters, and like they had lost the beautiful flatware that her mom had. I thought this was kind of interesting because I was like, it's kind of showing that she has a little bit of a like vanity about her, where I'm like, I don't even think I'd think about that. Like,
you didn't grow up
I know.
a Lord S. Or
but,
whatever.
I'm just like, who the fuck cares about your fork? Feyre... but see, I thought that was maybe intentional to be like, Feyre, too, has a little bit of this,
Yeah. Because it's that, from her perspective, that's why are we centering that?
Why are we?
If she's just a utilitarian gal, just hunting and
well, so then that
spitting,
harkens back to her kind of liking their conversation a little earlier. Although, given the amount of vitriol she has towards these two through this whole chapter, I'm like, was she was coming up on that? This is her feelings, and this is what she's dealing with, and she still came up on that house being like, oh, my sisters. I'm like, yeah?
Maybe only when they can't see her, It's like that kind of thing.
Perhaps. She's thinking about her mom, and then she's thinking about how, she was imperious and cold with her children. But she did love their father, and she loved throwing parties and socializing with other people,
what a
not
mom.
the kids.
Joyous and dazzling with her peerage, which I thought was kind of a nice way to describe it. Yeah. That's a mom.
Yeah, and it's she was too busy to care about Feyre because of her parties, and the only thing she ever noticed about Feyre was that she was talented at painting and sketching, and she thought that would help her get a good husband.
And Feyre clearly still seems to value that skill a lot.
That's true.
So, interesting, right?
And she thinks about how, she definitely would never have been able to deal with us losing our wealth. Maybe it's better she died. And she says, if anything, left more food for us. So, you're getting this harshness off of Feyre, right?
Yeah.
And, I don't think that she necessarily really deep down...
No, I agree.
...thinks that, but, a little bit of, well, at least there's that.
Yeah, I mean, and it harkens back to chapter 1 with the, it was winter.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. She's in survival mode.
Totally.
And, yeah, I mean, if her mom is anything like her elder sisters, adding another mouth like that to the pile would have just sucked. So.
Yeah. So she starts thinking about, I suppose the question Sarah knew we'd all be wondering, well, why don't you just literally leave these people? Who cares? I mean, of course hard, but also maybe it's to that point, right? The way you've characterized them. So this was the explanation. It says, I'd sworn it to her, meaning her mom, and that about taking care of the family. And then she died, and in our miserable human world, shielded only by the promise made by the High Fae 5 centuries ago, in our world where we'd forgotten the names of our gods, a promise was law, a promise was currency, a promise was your bond. Okay, how does that relate to shielded only by the promise made by the High Fae 5 centuries ago? So are we saying culturally... They have this sense that there are these monsters over there.
Yeah.
And the only reason they're allowed to live and, be happy was because of a promise.
Guess so, yeah.
And therefore, in their godless, spiritually bereft society, promises have taken on a whole new meaning due to this thing that they perceive as their, saving... grace.
I'd say that sounds like exactly what it must mean. Yeah.
Does that feel good?
Not to me.
Okay.
No, I mean that's shoddy world building. You'd have to show
that's how I
something
feel.
kind of crazy.
I would need to be when she goes into town.
Yeah.
There's almost some weird, I don't know, system at play
for
promises.
Promises and bonds.
And I guess I'm is there any implication that there's a magical element to the promise, or no? It's just a cultural
faux
pas.
Humans don't have magic apparently,
right.
So it seems to be just they had gods. Those gods have been erased for some reason. They've forgotten them,
and they didn't come up with new ones.
And
except for promise.
Except for promise, yeah. So promise is a bond, which in and of itself, on its face, to me, reads as this is a very Fey concept. This is a very
that's
fairy tale dealing with the silkies and all this sort of stuff. When you make a promise to a Fey, it has to be kept. There's all sorts of ins and outs rules, and that's what we're trying to get at here.
Yeah.
But this would if you're claiming it has utterly changed human society, in the way that it has, I need to see that. You cannot just shoehorn this in here, in some some weird way, and I don't know. Did Nesta promise she was going to chop the wood in the morning, or did
that would have been interesting? But I it feels like we kind of want this to be a concept for this moment, but also we don't really want to have to rely
actually world
on
build
that.
around that as like a
Yeah,
magic.
no.
So what sucks about that is like it would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
If you were going to make that promise to us as readers, then when we go through it, it would be kind of interesting.
Well, I'm gonna keep an eye out. I'm curious if
if
ever
other
comes
bonds
back.
or things, yeah,
Like outside, I don't feel like it counts so much if it happens in the Fae world because I would expect
That's
that
where
of
it
the Fae.
does happen,
I'm
yeah.
curious to be like, oh, does that religious belief around, I guess, almost religious belief around a promise ever play a role with the humans?
exactly. And is there consequence other than social?
Yeah, because I'm like,
So-
well, a lot is riding on that right now, right? A lot for her, like her not leaving them and putting herself through all of this.
Yeah.
And it's going to extend, right? Like this sort of absurd place where she's like in heaven and being like, get me out of here, my promise. And you're like, I really need to believe that that promise is so meaningful to you for you to still have those feelings.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I assume that I will agree. Yeah. I need to see, but
If I'm starving
yeah.
and living with a bunch of like the most overt abusers imaginable, and then I end up somewhere gorgeous, well-fed, clean, I think...
Does she have white paint?
She definitely does.
Holy shit. Never mind. I'm never coming back.
I don't know, like, it would take a lot for me to go, like, don't care about this.
I made a promise. Yeah. You gotta...
It's like, you're gonna have, like, PTSD. You're gonna be, like, kicking and screaming. Like, I can't go back there, even if I have this promise.
And it's hard because I was going to say, before you said all that, if it was just the concept, and you don't really develop it any further, of a young girl's guilt on her mother's deathbed being a powerful motivator,
Yes, I know.
I'd be on board.
I know.
Like, you don't even need... Like, people get shaped by those things.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is
sure.
potent. But, you know,
You
then...
can do both. And I guess I'm wondering,
Yeah.
like, is she erring away from that because, like, Feyre is the type of person that, like, wouldn't want to get into the emotionality of that. And so she's, like, convincing herself
that there's a...
that the promise is the reason, even though it's not actually. But she doesn't want to, like, touch that part.
Maybe.
She wonders if her mom was delirious when she made her make the promise and she didn't realize what she was asking of her, or if she just had figured out the true nature of her husband and children. I don't know. Do we think... I'm like, it doesn't seem like your mom didn't know that. It seems like your mom was of that ilk herself and probably was
Yeah.
very aware of it.
Yeah, I think
Right?
so. I think she was just astute and was like, of my children, this is the one that's going to do it.
So she's listening to Nesta at the dinner table, who's going on and on about the villagers' lack of social graces and their ugly clothing. Nesta, like, and Elain are kind of like continuing a conversation that it seems like Feyre was not involved in. And she talks about how she declined a request from Thomas. Then Feyre is like, you mean Thomas Mandray, the woodcutter's son? And she...
The woodcutter's boy?
And Nesta says yes, and then Feyre says, what does he want? And then Elain says, he wants to marry her. And she makes a little comment about how her dad is staring at Elain, looking all happy at her. And she's like, well, that makes sense. He loves Elain because she's the only one who talks to him. So,
Damn.
yeah, fair enough. And you do, like, that. I think that is, like, Elain is kind of likable. Like, you get the sense that
Oh,
she's,
yeah.
like, although, like, it's just frankly absurd that she will not just be like, I need to eat. Okay. But
Yeah, that's important. you know?
outside of that, you're kind of like, she has very, like, peacemaker vibes where
Sure.
she is trying to
She is the
empathize
middle,
with
and she's
everyone.
literally the middle child. And
Yeah.
so she's the glue in a lot of ways. And her being dumb helps facilitate that.
Sure. Nesta, like, looks over at Feyre, and there's this little moment, she, like, cocks her head, and Feyre's like, oh, she looks like a predator, and, like, maybe if she could use some of her steeliness towards our survival, we actually would be really well off. She's too preoccupied with not being rich anymore for it to be useful. I kind of thought that was, like, a bit nuanced and,
I
like, an
agree.
interesting
Yeah.
element to, like, Feyre's thought process and Nesta's characterization.
And she's the eldest, so there's all that, like,
Yeah.
it's like, why are you not taking more charge to help us?
Because, like, you have
fortitude up here.
I don't know. So, like, some part of me was like, okay, that's a bit of...
That's something.
I just think you could characterize Nesta that way better even here. Like, you know, instead of like, ooh, ew, stinky, like, as something else. She could still be a bitch, but just, like, in a different way. I don't know. So, Nesta says, is there a problem, Feyre? Feyre says, you won't chop wood for us, but you want to marry a woodcutter's son? I was like, to be fair, like, he's probably chopping the wood, not her. I thought, oh.
Yeah, he definitely is, because that's his job.
I don't know if she has to chop wood, right? I guess it's like her being like, oh, I thought you were like so above woodcutting.
Herself.
I know. Because
you would marry a fisherman, but you won't spend 6 months at sea?
There's a lot of gendered elements too, right? Like, you're like, Nesta doesn't want to do it because she perceives it as so masculine, and she's like, I'm a lady.
Exactly.
And so, like, yeah.
And that is what he would like about her.
Yeah, correct.
But now, so now I gotta wonder, is Feyre, when she pairs off with whoever she pairs off with, is she trying to do what he does well, as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So...
I would say, yeah, actually.
So that's actually tracking. She's saying, you're gonna marry a woodcutter's son and not cut wood with him?
Right.
And she's like, no, that's not what we do in heterosexual relationships.
Yes, Feyre does have a lot of...
bro masculinity, where she's like...
like, not really, but, like, she is very, like... Don't tell me I have to stay in the house. Don't tell me I have to be a pretty lady. Don't tell me... And, you know, you get it right away with the Beauty and the Beast. Like, put on this dress and come to dinner. And then you're like, I don't want to put on that dress, you know? So, yeah, that is a theme. I thought all you wanted for us to get out of the house, to marry me and Elain off so you can have enough time to paint your glorious masterpieces. Then she, like, looks down at the foxgloves she painted on the table and is like, ew. Yeah, like, I guess something like this, you're kind of like, okay, I definitely get this sense that there's some, like, unspoken dynamic and resentment from Nesta's point of view towards Feyre. And you're like, yeah, damn, there's been 8 years leading up to this argument and moment. Perhaps Feyre is...
And it is funny, because she does want her to leave.
It's true.
But she's also being practical about it. And... like the mom's dying wish, keeping the family together.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta get married at some point.
Yeah, but I think it's this unwillingness to, like, break the comfort of the discomfort, you know?
I say break it.
Of course.
So, yeah, Feyre then is, like, being really harsh about her own painting as she looks
at it.
I like
this a bit, but I think
it's interesting. She's like, they're too dark and too blue. They have none of the white freckling inside. But I'd made do, even if it killed me, not to have white paint. To make something so flawed and lasting. Feyre contradicts herself a lot in this chapter. And it doesn't feel unintentional, I don't think, because she's saying what is killing her is that she made something that's going to last so long and is so flawed, and in like a paragraph she's going to be like,
it's chipping away.
I'm so sad because actually it's going away so fast and it will not last at all.
So maybe the artistry there from Sarah,
to
give her credit, is that this family unit, which she has held together herself, is like that foxglove painting.
True.
It is flawed, it is lasting, and now it is falling apart.
Right.
The girls are going to move on. Who knows what's going to happen. They don't have any money. It's like the thread. It's threadbare itself right now. The family.
Yeah, I think a couple of things are interesting. One being, I think that it's like part of this characterization for her versus the other family members is that Feyre is willing to do things imperfectly. So she's action oriented, where sense. They're kind of like, I only want to do it if I'm going to be good at it, like chopping the wood, whatever, and they refuse to do things they think they'll be bad at.
Sure.
Although Nesta's desire to marry Thomas is kind of the opposite of that. Right? And Feyre gets a little snooty about that soon.
She does.
So it's kind of like contradictory. Yeah, there's something. And then this sort of reminded me a little bit of Feyre's silverware moment where she's being like, oh, I wish I can't believe we're using this ugly silverware. Where you're like, her being like, it killed me to have to paint this without white paint. And you're kind of like, okay, chill.
Girl, relax. Yeah.
Chill out. But like, yeah, there's something to that where, like, I think that's her past, maybe. She did grow up in this family and she has a bit of that in her. Feyre says, believe me, the day you want to marry someone worthy, I'll march up to his house and hand you over, but you're not going to marry Thomas. It's kind of...
Does Feyre have a crush on Thomas?
Well, obviously not.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah, I think Feyre thinks he's like a serial killer.
Which, that seems like important information to put forward.
I know, I guess she knows, like, Nesta's obviously not going to give a fuck or listen. But yeah, it's a little, like, there is some part of you that's just like, Feyre, just let her go.
Let her go.
She wants to make these stupid-ass choices. She's such an over-the-top bitch that it's hard to imagine you caring this much about, like, where she ends up.
I agree. But it's also, it's not that she thought he was a serial killer. What she sensed in him, I think, is... I was a little confused by it, right? So it was like a willingness to, like, kill her for her food, right? And, like, I don't know. Is that not understandable a bit?
Yeah, I guess it's just, like, how close to the surface it was.
Sure.
Versus...
But I guess when you're really starving, maybe that's something you would do. But maybe she wouldn't. Yeah. And I guess there's something to be said of... If she's seeing that he's out there hunting like she is, in the same way, she's like, he's no better than me, so you're not going to be better off there.
So Nesta's like, I'm doing it anyway, and I'm going to eat better food. And she throws, like, that Feyre's got this hookup Isaac. At least I'm not running in the hay with Isaac Hale like an animal. And, like, Dad gets awkward about it.
Rough.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, but, like, why does... Nesta seems sharp, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. I feel like one of her redeeming qualities is that she seems intelligent and haughty. So why is she so unaware that this guy can't feed her? Like, why does she think life's going to be better?
I think she's just saying better than it is now.
Is that... Well, maybe that's true. I don't know.
They got a whole family and a woodcutter.
I mean, Feyre is saying no. I don't know if she's right.
I don't know either. She picked up on something that Feyre didn't, maybe.
I like the idea that Nesta is kind of smart and wily. So, like, I would like to think she would kind of know this, but maybe not. So Feyre says, Thomas's family is just as poor as us. You're just going to be another mouth to feed.
Damn.
Feyre recounts running into Thomas in the woods one time, and she was like, he seemed like he was starving and he was going to attack me, and he really made me feel uncomfortable. So, like, you definitely get the sense she also doesn't want her to go because of that. So Feyre's like, we can't pay a dowry for you. We can't pay one for Elain. And Nesta's like, it doesn't matter. We're in love. And Elaine's, like, nodding and being like, yeah, love.
This feels like more of a plotline for Elain than Nesta. I feel like Nesta seems a little shrewder than that.
Yes, I agree.
You know?
Why not have Elain being the silly one who's believing in true love?
And then, like, Feyre could get nasty about that, and then Nesta could be like, just leave her alone or something like that. You could have done that.
I think that would have done a nice job rounding them out. I think it would have fit Elaine's character better, and I think it would have been like, oh, like, Nesta defending her, like, love fantasy would add a little dimension to them. So yeah, I do think it's kind of an odd choice.
Elaine's given not much in this chapter. She's just kind of there.
Feyre says, I almost laughed. When had they gone from mooning over
aristos
to making doe eyes at peasants? I really was like, oh my god, okay, listen to you, little miss, making doe eyes at peasants. Where are you getting off? So she has a bit of haughtiness.
She does.
There is something weird about, like, you're like, okay, Nesta's sitting around blah, blah, blah about the villagers not being, I don't know, and that's smart.
So bad of them.
But then you're like, but Nesta is willing to consider an option for her.
As a husband.
And you're not, obviously. You think you're better than that.
Seems like it. Or at least she thinks they're better than that. And is confused by the dichotomy.
Sure.
But
I don't know, it's kind of intriguing. I do think that was intentional to make you have a moment of pause.
Yeah, I agree.
To go like, oh. And then Feyre says, Thomas might want to marry you, but you're a burden and you have nothing to offer. So I do think this is intentional, right? I think it is supposed to call into question how often does Feyre talk to Nesta like that, right? Yeah. And to be fair, the way she acts, you're like, yeah, though, you might
you catch these hands. You deserve that. Right? Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess there's always that question of like, go back and back and back and back. And you're like, who started it, right?
The way sisters are, right? The way family
Feyre
is.
Immediately kind of talk down potentially to Nesta.
Throw mom's burden on her back and immediately start blasting her sisters from the get-go? Maybe.
At least it gives her... I'm glad that Feyre is being given the chance to be a little nasty. because it kind of evens it out a little bit.
Yeah.
So Nesta says, Feyre's just a half-wild beast barking orders, and one day she'll have no one left to remember her or care that she existed. And then her and Elain run into their room and slam the door. I do find, like, in that engagement, it is so, I'm like, okay, Elain, who seems to, like, want to comfort everybody, seemingly, is still taking Nesta's side.
Yeah. If only, though, to, I don't know,
I guess it's
give
because
Feyre more breathing room with her opinions and stuff.
They're all, I guess, like, it's that Elain is still so attached to the fairy tale-ness of everything, of life.
Yeah. So an attack on love.
Nesta lets her have that more.
She does. She definitely does.
Right.
And so does Dad. So that's why she likes Dad.
Yeah, and Feyre is being very like, we're not getting anything back. Nothing good's gonna happen. We can't get married. Just come into the woods and get dirty with me. And like, Elain is like, I can't go there mentally.
She can't.
So then she can't connect
She
with
can't go
Feyre.
many places mentally, but she struggles to go anywhere mentally.
Right. So Feyre like, says to Dad, you gotta talk some sense into Nesta. And he says, like, I can't if it's love.
Yeah.
And she says, it can't be love, not on his part, not with his wretched family. I've seen the way he acts around the village. There's one thing he wants from her, and it's not her hand. We're
being really crass at Dad this evening.
Yeah, but I'm also like, oh, okay, this came out of nowhere. Because, like, the only thing you told me was that, like, he was going to, like, murder you one time. Him being horny around the village is a whole nother thing. I don't know what I think about that. It is kind of interesting, though, that she says the reason he can't love her is because of how horrible his family is. And you're like, you have a horrible family.
Quite literally,
I mean, based on that's your interpretation. Your interpretation is that you have a terrible family.
So this is the internalized sort of like self-hatred because of poorness. She hates them for being peasants, and she hates herself and her family for being peasants.
Right. So she's also like, hates...
no love for any of us because we all suck.
Yeah.
And that's what she's getting at. Mm-hmm. But Dad says, we need hope as much as we need bread and meat. We need hope or else we cannot endure. Kind of bars.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, I didn't write the rest. So let her keep this hope. Let her imagine a better life.
A better world.
A better world.
Feyre says, there is no such thing. Right, so you gotta think you end on that note being like, this is Feyre's flaw.
Yes, definitely. Right? Absolutely.
And like, Dad's got some points, you know?
Dad's the sunshine boy and Feyre's the grumpy girl.
Dad's got some points.
Yeah.
And then that's when she looks down at her painting of the foxgloves and notices they're chipping away. She thinks about how nobody's going to be able to see them in a few years, which is interesting because it contradicts her thoughts
of everything being permanent.
Of how it's so permanent. And I suppose that one's probably more accurate because you're like, yeah, I mean, it's not
you
gonna...
painted on some random table. It's gonna go away.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Wow, I feel like, are you coming around a little?
On this chapter?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Really?
A little bit, yeah. I like it better now.
Okay.
It has more, there's more to it. In the weight of everything, we'll see. That's how it feels like it gives me a lot of promises, which I like. When a book gives you a lot of promises and it feels very like potentially rich, especially in chapter 2, we can be excited.
Yeah.
If it does not deliver on those promises, then it feels like dried up ash in your mouth, and that's the worst feeling. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm gathering from your face some of them won't deliver.
It's like a mixed bag. That's what it was such a struggle.
Yeah.
Is that it's not like she never delivers on any complexity, but to me, it feels like a lot of balls are dropped, and I do think there's going to be a lot of don't look over there too much. Don't think about this too much. Yeah, these things don't really kind of contradict each other. We're like, don't worry about that. And like, I don't love that. But I'm wondering maybe as I read more, will I like come up with some through lines or something that make it more interesting? I do think it's possible.
I'm excited to see. Well, that was chapter 2.
That was, we had a lot to say.
Yeah, we didn't think we were going to go that long, but we did.
I know.
We thought we could do 2 chapters today, but
not true, not so.
All right, we're going 1 for 1. So now 2 for 2. We'll see you next time.
All right, bye guys.
Under the Mountain Pod.
Thanks for joining.